Good morning to all of you. Today I will go close to Frankfurt to meet the old friend Dr. Flood. His real name is Dr. Andreas Klippe, and he is an expert in flooding prevention and how to handle big rainwater and calamities related to water. He's very famous in international congresses and seminars. He's writing articles for German magazines like Focus, and he's very, very active in Asia. And now I met him again in the Middle East. So we agreed, because I just live 75 kilometers away from him, I will go to him and ask him some questions I really need to have the answers to see what is the future of prevention of flooding, how to handle floods. And he is a very, very nice guy and very likable. So I'm very happy to see him very soon. So I just entered my car and now I'm on the way to Mr. Flood, or better, Dr. Flood. And I forgot to mention, he published several books, and some of his books are free of charge and they can be downloaded from his webpage. And in the show notes you will have his webpage, and he's also famous with his personal podcast, and also the link to the podcast is in the show note. So finally I arrived in Hessen, exactly in Usingen, correct?
Correct, Usingen-Kransberg.
Usingen-Kransberg?
Kransberg.
Okay, and now I have one big question. How should I call you? Dr. Andreas Klippe, Andreas, Andy, or Dr. Flood?
The simplest is you call me Andy, because for our foreign listeners and viewers, Andreas, sometimes it's difficult to pronounce. I also don't call you Dr. Alexander or Dr. Krah. So Andy is okay.
Okay, so you are Andy, okay. Even Dr. Flood is a cool name. Yeah?
Oh yeah, I like it,
Yeah.
but it was not me who invented it.
No?
It was awarded in a way. It came to me.
Oh, okay. So Andy is very famous in all social media. He has his own podcast, his own video, and he just showed me his perfect room or studio for video and podcast recording. It's unbelievable. I hope I can come back here again to see it. And I came all the way here on this beautiful summer day to get some information about flooding and flooding prevention, because Andy, I know him from the Philippines. He made many projects in Asia, and recently I met him also in the Middle East doing anti-flooding. So basically in Asia I understand they have flooding problems because of the typhoons.
Southeast Asia. Huh?
Yeah, Southeast Asia, correct.
Asia,
Yeah.
East Asia.
And Germany, I know we had also flooding, like the famous one, Ahrtal. And when I used to be young, the river Rhine was flooded many times. So the water should be the same, but the behavior of the flooding, is it the same or is it different between Europe and Asia?
There's one big difference, of course. Normally, the temperature is higher in Asia. So very often we face problems with flooding in Europe and in Germany, Belgium, even Austria, Switzerland, France, and that is during the winter time. And then, of course, it is very icy. Sometimes it's freezing, so we don't face these problems. Most of the time, we don't face it in Southeast Asia or in the Middle East. In the Middle East, the temperatures are always around 30, 40 degrees and even more. But the result is exactly the same. That is devastating damages in the buildings, people who live in fear, who are getting crazy about the protection of the families. So that is a similar problem. At the end of the day, we destroy values. Values means inventory and buildings. So it's similar.
Okay, another question. Maybe because I was young, I had the feeling that we had more floodings in the old days and not so many floodings today. I'm wrong, or is this just like a feeling?
No, your feeling is correct, Alexander, and we face more problems right now. And I say it is due to climate change. And if you don't believe in climate change, I always say it doesn't matter at all, because the only thing what counts is it raining? Yes or no? And do you have more rain? Yes or no? And I say we have more rain, we have more powerful rain, and the water load per square meter, per hour or per day is much higher than before. And there are statistics about that. So, and at the end, it doesn't even matter whether you believe in statistics or not. The only thing what matters is, do you want to protect your home? Do you want to protect your business? Do you want to protect your public facility from the danger of flooding and heavy rain? Yes or no? That is what counts.
Okay, I don't want to fight about the climate change, because I think also climate change, and like what Andy said, it's not important basically if it's human-made or nature-made. We have to handle the consequences, and the consequences are unexpected high rainfall and to protect our values and families. In the Middle East, I got some rumors. Rumors. I don't know if they are correct or not, but maybe you can help me. They said they are working with cloud seeding. What is cloud seeding, and does it work? Is it dangerous? What do you think?
Now, cloud seeding it's not brand new. It's already existing since many years. So at the end of the day, you shoot silver, iron silver elements to the clouds, and you hope that they will immediately free the water load. That means you can control the location where it will rain. And that is what countries are testing. Yes, in the Emirates, that is where you heard it, right? And in the Middle East they make these. It's a little bit try and error, because there are still some problems, and it can be that suddenly it is raining at a location where it should not rain, because you cannot control the wind at the end of the day. But that is what people try to do. So at the end, we try to manage Mother Earth and the nature.
Okay, I have another idea. Okay, first of all, thanks. I was a little bit that cloud seeding. Is it true or is it not true? Will they produce clouds? But what you said, they will just use clouds to let the cloud rain.
At the end of the day, you produce it, that the clouds are growing, but at a place far away from the cities. So far away from this location where you don't want to have this rain, because it is the problem in these big cities, whether it is Dubai, Riyadh, Kuwait City, or Doha, and Muscat in Oman, is always the same. You have a lot of concrete. You don't have grassland and a natural landscape anymore. And one thing is missing, that is drainage. So there are no pipes who can bring the water away from the cities to another location where the water is not disturbing you.
Okay, this is a very good idea, especially our pipes, if preferred. But
yeah, of course. Okay. These pipes are really brilliant.
Okay, one other question, because now we have this expert here. I have the feeling, I live in the Westerwald. I have the feeling sometimes even in Germany there are clouds and they don't move and they are raining 100% down. In one valley, flooding, and the next valley, even no rain at all. What is this? Or how can you explain this behavior? Like, I read about omega-3. I know it from some nutrition in food, but I think it's also...
Yeah, go ahead with your question.
Okay, so omega-3 cloud or weather behavior, what is omega-3?
Omega-3 is a weather situation. I am only a humble engineer. I'm a process engineer. I'm not a weatherman. However, my topic is flood protection, the protection of buildings and environments, and so on and so forth. So omega-3 situation is when you have two depressions, and why high pressure situation together, and they form this Greek omega. That is where the name is coming from. And now you can see we have a bird here, but no clouds. We are in nature. So if there would be a omega-3 situation, that would mean that first you can expect a lot of rain. That is one thing. And all these three elements, the two depressions and the high pressure weather situation, are interconnected with each other, and very often they are not moving that fast. And that is what you perhaps said before, Alexander. You think there was less rain when we were younger. I also observed it, and I always say it has to do something with a jet stream, perhaps. That means these bad weather situations are more stable. They stay longer, and they unload the water just where you live.
Yeah.
So luckily we have no rain today, but that is what happens. And at the same time you can have a very hot weather situation during, let me say, weeks or months, and then the people are complaining about the heat and that it is not raining at all. That has the same reason, because then the weather is stable. At the moment, while we are recording this video, you know very well, here in summertime in Germany, the weather is quite unstable at the moment. So more or less every day we have a little bit rain, a little bit wind, and then comes a storm, and but that can change. And then suddenly you face six weeks of extreme heat, followed by 4 weeks of extreme rain. And that has to do with a change of the weather system. In my opinion, it has to do with the jet stream, because the jet stream is slowing down, and the jet stream system at the North Pole and South Pole area is responsible for the wind on this planet. But that is my opinion. At the end of the day, we face more rain, so we have to find solutions how to get rid of this rain, because I don't want the rain in my basement of my house. How about you?
I like rain because I'm a hunter. I like the nature, and for the nature.
In your house?
Not okay. In my house, I don't want rain.
You see.
Okay, you explained this so nicely, so beautifully. Can you say just 2 sentences for the phenomenon called La Niña, El Niño?
Oh, La Niña and El Niño, that is a phenomena that was invented. I think it comes from Peru, and these were fishermen who realized one time that suddenly there was no fish anymore in the sea, so they could not fish anymore. And then they were asking the question, where is it coming from? And that is related to the direction of the wind, and that is related to the situation in the water. That is why suddenly the pressure is changing, and it is called La Niña because La Niña, that is Christmas. So how is it called? The child at Christmas is La Niña.
La Niña.
La Niña, exactly. So La Niña, Christkindl in German, we call it. And because they observed it around Christmas, and that is where the name is coming from. And the opposite is El Niño, so that is the masculine name for it. And these weather situations change all years. So for several years you have one system that is more stronger, and that is changing the direction of the winds in this area. And that is influencing the whole wind and weather system in the world.
Okay, very nice. So I have now finally an explanation. I always prefer La Niña, but I don't know why. But I think it fits much better to me than El Niño. And another question. Now we come a little bit more to the business like. When we talk about a half water cycle, a full water cycle, and the growing of cities and the sealing of surfaces, how cities should be designed and planned to handle the flooding in the future?
Excellent question, Alexander. I know that you provide one part of the solution. Yes, indeed. Imagine this mega city in China, Chongqing. A couple of years ago, I remember nobody knew where Chongqing is and how to pronounce it. And at this time, they had, I think, 18 million inhabitants. Now I think they are at 26 or even 28 or something like that. And this city is almost completely concreted, like all these mega cities, Metro Manila in the Philippines, for instance, but also more and more cities like Ho Chi Minh City and Kuala Lumpur, Jakarta and Dubai, Riyadh, etc. So why? Because there's more and more construction ongoing, and there are three possibilities how to get rid of this rainwater, because we described it already. There's more rain per time, and the intensity is higher. By the way, that has to do with the increased average temperature of the oceans. It was increased by 1.9 degrees, so more thermic energy in the water, more evaporation, more clouds, more rain. And less wind, so it rains more per square meter. So what is the solution? That was your question, right?
Yes.
Okay.
And you
Sorry,
said, and he said, I have only one solution. I don't know of how many, maybe 100.
No, it's not 100, but I always say it this way. If you have too much water in your... imagine where you live. For all our viewers or your viewers, they live somewhere. Okay, perhaps not for the people who live in the 25th floor in Singapore, but for all those who live in a house in a house. So that means at the street level. So for them it is important that they don't get flooded. If you live in the 25th floor and your high-rise building gets flooded, okay, you cannot leave, but you are not immediately concerned. So for all the others, it plays a role. It plays a role for all business managers who want to manufacture things. You're also a business manager and an entrepreneur, so you manufacture machines. And imagine you are an owner of a five-star hotel, and or you run a supermarket, a commercial center, or hospital. So, or you are a public servant and you operate the metro system, the metro, the subway, or you're responsible for the pumping stations, electricity, transformer stations, and so on. So you must get rid of this water. How? That was a question. Now I give the answer. Number one is you need some pipes. I don't say that because I want to please you, Alexander.
But
by the way,
right.
he is not paying me for that. No. Only kidding. But you need pipes first.
No, he's not kidding. I'm seriously not paying for this.
No, the story what I'm saying. First, you need pipes to bring the water far away from where you live. That is normally what in Germany we have. In front of my house, we are here in the garden, in front of my house, in every house there's a canal system, public sewer. You don't have that in most of the countries. You don't have that in the Middle East. That is one reason why the water cannot disappear. You don't have grassland. You don't have soil. You have concrete, so the water stays on concrete. That is like you fill a swimming pool with water. You just wait, and after a while the swimming pool is full. That is exactly the same what happens with a city. So first you need pipes and to get rid of the water. If that is not enough, because sometimes even in Germany there is a flooding situation, and because the gullies are overflowing. We have seen that last week in Frankfurt because too much water load. So what is solution number two? Solution number two is you... shall I hold the camera for a moment?
No.
That's okay. We are doing it the flexible way. We are not in a professional studio. We are doing that outdoors. That's why it's interesting. So solution number two is underground water storage tanks systems to store the water as much as you can. And if that is still not enough and the street is still underwater, and you are afraid that perhaps your two-year-old son or your 3-year-old daughter is playing behind the main door of your house and she might get injured, or you might be afraid, right? And then you need to protect your house from the danger of heavy rain and flooding, and you do that with modern flood barrier systems, temporarily installed or with flood doors, flood gates. So these are the three things to protect your house, your business, or your public facility. Pipes first means public sewer, second, underground water storage systems, and number three, individual flood barriers to protect your facility. These are the three solutions.
Okay, so I'm very happy. At least I have a solution for the first part, and you have a solution for the last part. You are doing barriers?
Yes. Now, we help companies and homeowners and governments first with consultation to as a flood. I consider sometimes myself as a flood protection planner to plan the right systems. Sometimes the system can be the pipes, sometimes it can be the underground water system, sometimes it can be barriers. Yeah, that's what we are doing.
Okay, by the way, the second part we also provide the big storage tanks, because basically it's also a pipe underground. And so in case somebody needs to have a planning or help in flood prevention, how they can contact you?
My name is Andreas Klippe. I'm a German engineer. And no, you can find me under andreasklippe.com. Andreas Klippe, Kilo Lima India, Papa Papa Echo, andreasklippe.com, and there are some links, and that will lead you to the right address. And I would be glad to have an inquiry, and even if you have a question, and then just ask me, and I'm glad to answer to it.
And he's very friendly and very nice, and I'm sure he will answer your question. So now we come to the last question. Are we, you and me, doing good things, and should we continue what we do, or?
We are the good guys.
We're good guys.
Yes, we are the good guys, and of course we continue. At the end, I thank you for this question, Alexander. And sometimes it's really frustrating because we know we have a solution to make this planet a better place. But it's sometimes difficult to convince people who do not know that this technology exists. And your pipes are special pipes. They are made by plastic compared to concrete. What I also did not know before, because I always see in the streets these concrete panels 1 meter wide or something. You know that better than I do. And it's sometimes frustrated to see how long the construction takes until the street is free for circulation, and it takes very long because everything is closed, etc. So I always say there is a solution. Why do the people don't use this solution? Why we always see this disaster in the news about the flooded scenarios, and then the people show the sandbags that don't work. So yes, we must continue because there's so much disaster, and the disaster will increase. Believe in climate change or don't, but the disaster will increase, and we are not stopping to put concrete everywhere. So I think people need us. Can I say that?
Yeah, they need us. We are very, very needed. And you can see, because this was the last question already, how beautiful this place, Taunus, is.
Yeah, that's the Hochtaunus, we call it. Close to Frankfurt, by the way, north of Frankfurt. Yeah.
Yeah, it's beautiful here. So don't go for vacation far away. If you're German, stay in the Hochtaunus. It's a beautiful place. And Andy, thank you very much for your time.
I thank you.
The coffee and the cake was beautiful before, and I will come here again. So thanks to all of you, and bye-bye, and see you soon.
Stay safe and flood free.
Correct.